Hi, and welcome to Lessons on Demand. This is your trainer, Scott Schilling, and I'm here with another lesson today called Dare to Dream. See, I've found that many people finally find their purpose and they find their passion in their heart and their desire, and then they don't really have a formula to, in fact, put it all into place to really make things happen. Well, it came to me one day as this is really a dream that we all are desiring to achieve. And therefore, being an acronym guy, I created an acronym for this lesson of DREAM. So we need to dare to dream as we move forward. Now the first thing you have to do if you really want to dare to dream is decide on your future. So where do you see yourself? What do you really see yourself accomplishing? What do you see around you? What's your family environment? What are your social settings? What are the things that are really going to help you know that you've arrived wherever it is you want to be? How many lives will you impact? Not long ago, I was doing a meditation, and I saw a vision of millions upon millions of people touched by the work that I was part of. Now, I don't know that I did all of it, but I had parts of it. But I could literally see millions of people being positively impacted by the work. Well, that's part of my dream. It's part of my deciding on my future and what I want. I have to put certain things into place to accomplish that. How many people will you help along the way? I find it very invigorating. It's happened twice in the last 2 days, just kind of by chance meetings with folks and really helping them through some things. Not that it started out that way. It started out one just having coffee with somebody and another actually having a lunch, but it turned into two fabulous coaching sessions. In fact, I just got an email from the person yesterday that just said, "Thank you so much for what we did together yesterday." Well, that's extremely gratifying. How many people will you help along the way? And you got to have some fun along the way. How much fun are you going to have? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Who are you going to do it with? I love traveling with my wife, Peggy. In fact, next week, we're going to embark on a cross-country road trip because we're taking our puppy, Willie. Now, our puppy, Willie, is almost 2 years old, but he's still a puppy to us. But he's a 51-pound standard chocolate poodle. He is as cool as it gets, and he loves to go on road trips. Well, we're going to go out west. We're going to have some fun at a training that I have to do in Vegas, and then we're going to pop up into Utah, do a little skiing, just play with Willie out in the snow, and just have a nice time. See, we've got a plan, and we've decided what kind of fun we're going to have. We're going to go travel together. Some people say, really, a road trip? They make airplanes. I get that, but you know what? Peggy and I have found it to be really fun to drive cross-country. Now, do I want to do it every day? No. But the times that we do it and we plan it, it's been really a good time. And it's great to see Willie having the fun along the way. So you have to create written and specific goals. You have to really decide what you want to do. As they say, those who don't have goals will soon be working for those who do. It's just that simple. You've got to have a path to run on. Now, do they have to be pie in the sky and the biggest goals in the history of ever? No, not necessarily. I don't think they really need to be that way. But I think they need to be achievable. I think they need to give you something to work towards, something that you want to accomplish along the way. It's better to shoot for a star and miss than aim for a stump and hit it. Just that simple. That's a saying from a friend of mine. And when he first said it, it set an impression in my mind, and I've remembered it ever since. Maybe you don't achieve everything that you want to achieve in life, but if you don't have some aspiration that's bigger than where you are or who you are, the chances are you're going to stay who you are or where you are, or even worse, you're going to shrivel. You're going to retract and not be who you already are. The thing is, we've been put on this planet to grow and expand and help more people have a fabulous life. Those definitions are changing these days, but it's still better to shoot for a star and miss than aim for a stump and hit it. Just that simple. Bottom line, you have to stretch yourself a little bit. You have to get outside of where you are today. You have to think through what you really want to accomplish and then stretch yourself, make yourself reach for something a little bit bigger and a little bit broader. The R in Dare to Dream is for restructure your activities. Now that you've decided upon your future and you now see the star that you're aiming at, you have to restructure your activities along the way. If you keep on doing the same things, you're going to keep on getting the same results. Remember Einstein's definition of insanity? Continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results? The fact is, if you don't like the results, you have to change the things you're doing. You might have to change your sleep patterns, your workout patterns, some of the friends you hang around with, what you study, what you don't study. All those different things. Everything is up for review when you look at restructuring your activities. Think about it. If you wanted to lose some weight right now, what would be the first thing you'd do? You'd probably analyze the foods you're intaking and take in some different foods. Well, that's restructuring your activities. Just that simple. How many hours do you need to work to accomplish a desired result? When we take this in the work environment, how many hours does it really take for you to be efficient at what you're doing? Isn't it amazing how every time you're up against a deadline, or you're leaving town tomorrow for vacation, or some kind of self-imposed time frame is put into place, isn't it amazing how much you get done? Well, guess what? You can do that every day. Except you don't have to work 8 hours a day to get 4 hours of work done. If you need 4 hours of work done, do 4 hours of work and then enjoy the other 4 hours to a greater extent. That's what happens with most people, is they end up working way too many hours, but half of them are wasted. Why not work half the hours and enjoy your life more? How much initial knowledge do you need in order to be more successful? You've invested in yourself through this Lessons on Demand program. So take this time and really embody this material. Again, take notes. You should have a pad of paper and a pen at this point and be taking notes along the way. You can stop this at any time. You can replay it. You can do a variety of different things to ensure that you get these messages along the way. How much additional knowledge do you need to become more successful? Well, just go out and get it a little bit at a time. A friend of mine had a great concept. And he said, if you could only improve just a single % a day, just 1%, does that seem like much? And everybody he's asked that question to says, no, you know what? That really doesn't seem like much at all if I could improve 1% a day. But when you add it up at the end of the year, you've improved 365%. So you don't have to have these whopping gains in a short period of time all the time. Slow, consistent, never-ending personal improvement will make a huge difference. I've said it many times in these sessions. The first day is your worst day, because you should take what you learned from the first day and now be better the second day. It's the same kind of thing. When it comes to physical fitness, you have to change up what you do from time to time. This is especially true if you're lifting weights. Your body now gets accustomed to a new norm. The new norm is the new everyday, the new regular. You have to kind of confuse the muscles from time to time if you really want them to grow and expand and do things. It's the exact same thing in your business life. It's the exact same thing in your personal life. It's the exact same thing in your relationships with family and friends. Bottom line, when you restructure your activities, you create a plan. You create a path that you're going to work on. You're going to walk on that path. You're going to move forward. Now, are you going to hit everything perfectly every day? More than likely not. But at least you have the plan, and you are moving down the path. You can now take the next steps of the Dare to Dream formula. The E in the Dare to Dream formula is now execute your strategy. You've created this plan. Now it's time to execute that strategy. You have to put it into place. Dig in and get after it. The only way you get feedback is by taking action. The only way you know if you're on course or off course is to take a course. It's just that simple. The only way to get that feedback is to do something. You have to get in motion. Tom Peters used to say, ready, fire, aim. I've had people say, wait a second, Scott, that slide's wrong. You've got it in the wrong order. Well, many people take the ready, aim, fire approach. But what Tom Peters was trying to get through is sometimes you just have to take action. And then as the result of where that hits on the target, now you can do the correction and really do the aiming. So again, sometimes people get caught in paralysis by analysis. They're aiming, 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 and they never fire. They never take the action. Well, if you never take the action, number one, you don't know if your aim's any good anyway. Number two, you don't accomplish anything. Ready, fire, aim. Sometimes you just got to go for it. Then you'll get the feedback. You can modify, go for it again. Now, am I saying being reckless with this? Not in the least. What I'm saying is stay in action. Take baby steps, little steps, consistent steps. Keep on watching, keep on analyzing. Look at what's happening, but you have to execute your strategy. You have to keep on moving. Now, what stops most people is fear. And in one of the lessons we talked about fear of success, fear of failure, fear of rejection. Well, fear is another great acronym. Fantasized experience appearing real. And there's a great book, if you haven't read it, on how to release fear by Susan Jeffers. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. What it does is it actually presses you up against your fear. It was interesting. The other night we were watching The Amazing Race, and they had people jump out of an airplane. One of the two partners had to jump out of an airplane. Now, they were tandem jumping, so they were very safe. But what happened is, almost to a person, they said, I was so afraid of this until I took the jump. For the next few seconds, it took me a little bit to get accustomed, and then it was one of the most beautiful experiences ever. They felt their fear, and they did it anyway. Again, if you haven't explored that book, I really suggest you get it. It's a phenomenal book that'll help you bust through your fears. Again, when it comes down to executing your strategy, motion creates a response. You have to put something in motion. If you have a ball hanging from a string, the only way that you know what the ball will do is to get it to move first. You push the ball, and now all of a sudden it reaches the end of the pendulum, and it now swings back, and it swings back, and it swings back. That motion is the first thing that creates the response. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So again, if you sit and similarly in a sales situation, you never ask for an order. If you never ask for an order, I can guarantee you, you're not going to get orders. It's just the way it works. Now, at the same time, if you ask for the order and they say no to you, that does not mean you didn't make a sale. It just means you did not make a sale that minute. Now you have some action or some questions to answer or smoke screens or objections, or you can provide more information, whatever the case might be. Because for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. This is physics. Every time you introduce yourself to somebody, you learn something. You learn, they learn, something has come together. You have to take and execute the strategies. Now, satisfaction in the Greek, satis is enough. Satisfaction is enough action. If you truly want satisfaction in your life, create enough action. Keep on doing things. I just dropped off a book to a big name speaker that's coming to town today. Unfortunately, I was planning on going and hearing them. I have previous commitments. I cannot. I'm flying out of town tomorrow. They happen to be here on the one weekend that I'm popping out of town right away. It's really a shame. So I wanted to gift them one of my books, and I went, well, what a shame. I can't get there when they're there. And all of a sudden it came to me. Well, does that satisfy you? That doesn't satisfy me at all. I want to put my book in their hand. What did I do? I went to the site hours in advance, probably 6 hours in advance, and hoping that a member of their speaking team would be there that I could hand the book to. Guess what? They weren't there. But somebody was there who said, we will do everything we can to get this to the speaking team and therefore get it to the desired person. Now, let's just say that it never gets to that person. Well, if I didn't leave the office and go over there, it wouldn't have gotten to the person. but I took the chance of going early, and now there is a prospect of it getting to them. Now, is it possible it still doesn't get to them? It's possible. So what I'll now do is I'll wait a period of time, and if I don't get any kind of response at all, then maybe I'll take another action. But for today, I am satisfied. There is satisfaction with the action that was taken to make that happen. This is the exact same thing you can do. If you want to get some information in front of somebody, go do it. Will it get through? You don't know. But if you don't try, it certainly hasn't gotten through. So you, again, have to execute your strategy. Now, at that point, I would also suggest that you log your activities. I would journal what you've done, how you've done it, who you've sent letters to, all those kinds of things, and then review that information later on to see what course of action is working, what course of action is not working. Again, you've got a strategy here, so part of the strategy is logging your activities. The reason you're logging your activities is so you can analyze those activities later on. The A in Dare to Dream stands for analyze the results. Now that you've gotten into motion, you've taken this action, you've made the movement, now it's time to analyze the results. As I said to you, I dropped this book off. I am trusting that it in fact will get into the desired person's hands. I should know that because there was a letter stuffed into the book. One way or the other, either that person or their assistant more than likely will acknowledge that they received the book if they get it. Now, if they never get it, or they just plain don't acknowledge it, if they don't plain acknowledge it, I'm going to infer that they did not get it in the first place. Or if I never hear anything about it, then I will take the next step of action because I've analyzed that, in fact, I don't believe they got what I was trying to drop off. So again, we have to analyze. You have to be able to measure everything you do. Now, am I talking about getting fanatical about, logging every piece of information? No, I'm not a proponent of taking good time and making it tedious, busy work time. That's not what I'm saying. But you do have to keep track of who you call, when you call them, how long between calls, a variety of different things so that you can truly measure the effectiveness. Your question should be, are you hitting your targets? Are you accomplishing what you really want to accomplish? If you're aiming for a star, have you hit the star? Or have you only hit the stump? The fact of the matter is you want to be looking consistently at the progress you're making towards reaching your targets. Now, if that target is, for example, I want to help 1 million people, and you haven't helped 1 million people, you now know that you probably should expand your reach. Think of McDonald's. 1 billion burgers sold, 3 billion burgers sold. You know that at one time that started out with 10,000 burgers sold. So the point is they're constantly measuring and analyzing their results because they want to keep track and make sure that they're succeeding and moving towards their goals. It's just that simple. They have to analyze and measure what you do. That's what it is. What are your revenues? Are your revenues measurable? Can you really see how much income is derived from a certain activity? This is going to help you with your marketing dollars along the way. You spend $1 over here, you get $3 in return. That's a pretty good ROI. You spend $1 over here, you get no business whatsoever. You might not want to spend those dollars again. Are the revenues coming tied to the actions that you've been taking? You have to measure what you do. Have you gained the acceptance of your profession that you've desired? One of the things is, how many people do you know that also do what you do? How many people do you know that they know? How much, what's your mental Rolodex? Now, we say that typically everybody has a mental Rolodex of about 250 people. The fact is, if you only have 250 people and you're in the sales or presentation business, I'm going to suggest you got a pretty small Rolodex. Because if you think about it, you know way more people than that. It just is a natural part. When you speak to hundreds or thousands of people at a time, now you're not going to know everybody in those audiences, but over time you certainly will be in front of many, many more people than just the 250 from that side. You have to look at the feedback you receive. The other thing you can do as you're in this analyze the results portion of this is also ask people to rate your performance on a scale of 1 to 10. This goes back to that 2-question survey that we talked about in another lesson. Best 2-question survey I've ever come across. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, how did our service rate today? Or on a 10 of 1, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, how did this training work for you today? If it's anything other than a 10, how could it be made so? So again, what you're doing is if you are constantly getting a rating on your performance and you are open about taking that feedback, it will help you tremendously along the way. You have to take that input. Buckminster Fuller said, you can't learn less. Everything is a learning opportunity. Again, this goes back into another lesson where we talked about the 5 questions you ask after any interaction. What was the lesson? What was my gift? What did I do to create it? How could I modify it and make it better next time? And how would this situation serve me the rest of my life? You can't learn less. If you ask those questions, you're going to learn something every time. You're going to now have something with that feedback that you can act upon to get better and better and better. And better and better and better may mean being able to spend more time with your family, maybe being more efficient with your time at the office. It may be traveling less, being on less airplanes. That could mean a lot of different things at this point. But the bottom line is you can't learn less. And then the M for Dare to Dream is modify and recommit. You've decided on your future. You've restructured your activities. You've executed that strategy. You've analyzed the results, and now it's time to modify and recommit to that dream again. Is the progress consistent with your dream? Are you closer to or farther away from what you wanted to accomplish? Just that simple. Well, if you're closer to, continue to do those kinds of activities. If you're farther from, you need to modify and stay committed to that end goal. I received one of the nicest compliments the other day when a friend of mine said, I don't know that I have ever seen anybody with the perseverance that you have and the desire to train and serve other people. What a great compliment. Nobody said training or getting in front of people was easy, but if you love to do it, you love to do it. Now, this is just about you as well. It's not just about me. You've got the perseverance. You're investing in yourself. You're listening to these lessons. Are you getting closer to or farther from your dream? If you're farther from, modify it and recommit. If you're closer to, modify and recommit as well. Just keep on pushing yourself forward. Very simple. Closer to, farther from. Re-examine your approach. And now what you have to do is modify that approach in such a way that it now moves you in that next point, that next direction. Basically, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And I talk a lot of times about what we want to do is only create enough dots to be able to draw that straight line from A to B. But sometimes there has to be a dot drawn in halfway, or at the quarters, or at the eighths, or the 16ths, or the 32nds. In other words, we would prefer to be able to go to A to B, one straight shot, very easy. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes the first point is a little bit left, then a little bit right, then a little bit left, then a little bit right, then a little bit more right, then back left too far. But finally we get to where we need to go. We have to be willing to do that. Winners are those people who make a habit of doing things that losers are uncomfortable doing. The great Ed Foreman. Isn't that exactly what it's all about? It's not that you're not going to fall down and skin a knee. It's that you get up, you brush yourself off, and you learn from that skin knee. You now go in a different direction. You don't follow the same cobblestone that tripped you the last time, that caused you to skin your knee. You now go on a smoother, better path. Again, it's not about not falling down. We're all going to fall down. It's about getting up faster. Then the bottom line is simple. You just have to go for it. You have to get back after it again and start doing what you know you needed to be doing all along. Again, we're all going to fall down. We all make mistakes. That's called being a human being. But it's learning from those mistakes that actually gives you the experience, the wisdom, and expertise to go forward. Let's just say that we want to decide on our future and we want to go on vacation in Hawaii. Okay, there's the D. We decided we wanted to go to Hawaii. That's beautiful. Does that put us in Hawaii? Not yet. We just made the decision that we wanted to get there. Well, what do we have to do? We have to restructure our activities. You can't drive, so you need to make reservations. You actually have to call an airline or a cruise line and say, I need transportation to Hawaii. I've decided I want to go to Hawaii. I have to restructure my activities. I have to either take a boat or a plane over to Hawaii. Am I there? Not yet. I have to execute the strategy. Now I have to buy the tickets. I have to go get on the airplane. I have to take the action. Just because I bought the tickets doesn't mean that in fact I'm in Hawaii. And I actually have to take the action. I have to get on the airplane and I have to make that move. Then we have to analyze the results. Are we on course or off course? Compare your results to your plan. Now, when a plane leaves Dallas, Texas, heading for Honolulu, it is far more often off course than it is on course. You have southerly winds coming around the Dallas area. You have winds out of the north coming around the Rocky Mountains. Then you have the southern trade winds. And you get the point? You're pushed back and forth. Well, there's no way that a pilot would say, I know we took off from Dallas heading for Honolulu, and we've been blown off course, so I hope you enjoy your vacation in Alaska. It doesn't work that way. They're going to constantly course correct along the way. Well, that's what analyzing the results does. And then you're going to modify and recommit. You're going to make the appropriate adjustments to reach the intended destination. You're going to put them into action, and you're going to stay committed. So when we do this, we decide on our future, we restructure those activities, we execute a strategy, we analyze the results, we modify and we recommit, and ultimately the bottom line is we get to Honolulu, we get to enjoy the time just hanging out, being there. Well, it's no different in this scenario as it is in a business scenario. Dare to dream. Decide on your future. Restructure your activities. Execute your strategy. Analyze the results. Modify and recommit, and you too can achieve any dream you truly desire. Now, I'd love to offer you a free gift with this. You can go to hcsfreegift.com and go ahead and download the 7 Steps to Heart-Centered Selling. It's 7 12 to 15-minute audio lessons that will, again, share the whole heart-centered selling concept with you from that side. It's a free gift just for being here today. And other free information, obviously, hcsfreegift.com. This is being delivered through an online video platform. You can learn more about that at videopromotionsnow.com. And, of course, even additional free resources are available at scottschillingrecommends.com. So please take advantage of this information. Again, I can only present it. You're the one who has to take the action and go ahead and go after these resources. As always, if you need more information, you can always visit www.scottschilling.com. Once again, it's been an honor to share this lesson with you, this lesson of Dare to Dream. You can truly accomplish anything in life that you want when you help enough other people get what they want, and you can dare to dream and get it. Until next time, this is Scott Schilling saying thanks for joining me. I'm really excited about your progress, and I look forward to hearing some wonderful things from you soon. Take care.